Hi there and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm covering the topic of inequalities in algebra. Sometimes it's started in Form 3 or in Form 4 and it's covered in maths. Now this particular topic is also covered in Art Maths, so I'll call this video, part 1. Now let me move on to my questions and detailed solutions. Before we move into inequalities with algebra, we need to understand the inequality signs. So these are the 4 signs. So I hope you're familiar with this, and if not, I'll teach you now. This first one means greater than or more than. This one means less than. This one is the same one as this one here, but it just has this extra line here, and that means less than or equal to. Similarly, this one is the same as the first one here, means more than or equal to. So from here now, let me take you to the number line. Number line is simply a straight line drawn like this with numbers on it. So say for instance I want to put 0 in the middle here, like 1, 2, 3, 4 going on this side, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, etc. Now notice that the spacing between the numbers is fairly the same, right? Now it's just a little sketch, so it wouldn't be exactly the same. If you want it to be exactly the same, you need to use a ruler, right? But you really don't need to have it so precise. Now, the next thing I need to go on to is a question. 1. Say they ask us, show on a number line, x is greater than 0. Now, we just have these 3 terms here, but we know because of these definitions here, this is how it's read, x is greater than 0. For me to do x is greater than 0, the first thing I need to do is make sure I have a number line that has the numbers that I require. Now, I must have a 0, and I must have the values, on the left and the right of it. So, next thing I need to do is I need to put a circle above my value that I'm considering. That's a 0, right? So you always do this. Greater than 0 would mean that it will be these values here. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, a million, etc. But I will just draw my line going over the rest of my positive number line, and I will put an arrow on the end. And that, everybody, is how I do the number line for a simple question like this. Now, let's move on to another one. The second question says, shown on number line, x is greater than or equal to 0. Again, you make sure you have a number line with 0 in it, and I draw my circle over my 0, and now I color it. Why? Because I have this equal sign here. So this double slash here now means that this circle that I'm doing will now just be colored. That's all it means. Greater than or equal to will still be all the values on the side, and this would be my answer for number 2. Now, number 3. If say number 3 was x is less than 1.5, again I must make sure I have a number line that caters for 1.5. So I could put 0 here now, I could put 1, 2, 3, 4, and I could just put minus 1, minus 2, right? Now, the 1.5 is a value between 1 and 2, so that'll be between these two. So 1.5 will be just in the middle here, so that is where my 1.5 marker will be. Now I'll put a circle above it, and since it says it's less than 1.5, I will cover all these values here on the left-hand side of my number line, right? So this is the solution for number 3. Say for instance, number 4 was read, x is greater than or equal to minus 7. Again, I need to make sure I have a minus 7 here. So I could put minus 7 around here. I could put minus 8 on the side, minus 6, minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, right? X is greater than or equal to minus 7 means I'm putting a circle here, coloring it in, because it's the equal sign here, and greater than goes this way like that. So that is the solution for number 4. Now this was simple algebra here, right? It just has one value here with an inequality sign and one value here. Now I want to move on to slightly more complex questions. Now to cover the more complex questions, I need to start with the rule of inequalities. And it says if you multiply or divide by a negative number, we change the sign. So simply means if we are multiplying by say negative 5, we will change the sign. If we divide by negative 5, we change the sign. Now of course it doesn't have to be 5 in each case, right? It could be any value. So let me move on now to my first question, like this. Say my first question in this particular category was to show on the number line 4x minus 7 is less than 0. Now this is not as simple as the questions we did before. This one has values here now. There's a 4 here, there's a minus 7, a 0, etc. Right? So what I need to do is to make it simplify so that I could get x, a sign, and a value here. Just 3 terms, right? So for me to do this, simple algebra, I need to simply send over everything and keep x on the side. So it'll be 4x is less than 7. Now I just send over the minus 7, so it became a positive 7. I did not divide or multiply by any negative number, so my sign remains the same. Here now, the positive 4 that's over on the side, it's multiplying. When I send it over, it remains as a positive 4, but it will divide now. So I will keep my sign because the positive 4 is the same, right? It's a positive value. So now x is less than 1 3/4 is my final solution. Now coming up to my number line, I could put minus 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let x is less than 1 3/4 will be around here, and it will go this way. So this, everybody, is the solution for my first question. My second question now says 9 minus x is greater than minus 6. Now to solve for x, we need to send over everything. 9 will go over here, minus x is greater than minus 6, minus 9, minus x is greater than minus 15. Now this really means minus 1 by x is greater than minus 15. Now if I have to send this over, I will have to leave this as an x, and this minus 15 will now be divided by that minus 1, because it was multiplying on this side. So when I'm dividing by a negative number now, I will change the sign, because that's the rule. So it will change from a greater than sign to a less than sign. So this line now will become less than minus 15 over minus 1, which is really 15. So x is less than 15 means I need to have a 15 here. So I could put 15 here, and I could go 14, 13, 12, 11, etc. Right? And I just make sure that I have my value there, and I put the, 0, minus 1, etc. I'll put 16 here, 17. And then I will put x is less than 15 here, circle over 15, and the arrow going straight down this way. So that, everybody, is my solution for my second question. Now my third question is 3 is less than or equal to 5 minus 2x. Now in this particular case, my x is on the right hand side. All the other examples I did before, my x is on this side. So if I want to place it over on this side, it's not as easy as just writing it over and writing over everything as the same, right? Say for instance, I want to say Tom's age, Tom is older than Harry, right? Then that's the same thing as saying Harry is younger than Tom. So for me to switch around this, for this to go here and so, I need to change this sign. So that's another way, another reason we would change the signs, right? So then I would write 5 minus 2x is greater than or equal to 3. So this is what I would move on now with. And I solve as regular. 3 minus 5 minus 2x is greater than minus 2. Again, I have multiplying by minus here. So I get x is less than or equal to minus 2 over minus 2. So my answer will be x is less than or equal to 1. Now the number line for this would look like this. I have my 1, like my 1 could be here. I could have a 0, I could have a minus 1 here, 2, 3, etc. Right? And x is less than or equal to 1 would be circle here with that color, and I'll take all these values here. So that, everybody, is the third solution. My fourth example goes like this. X minus 2 is less than 2x plus 1 less than 3. Now this is a more complex question than all the others I've done before, but we could simply do this by breaking it up. So what I could do is I could use this as 1. This piece here could be 1 inequality and 1 sum. And this piece here could be another inequality, right? So let me work them out separately. This piece will go like this. X minus 2 less than 2x plus 1. Solving for x, I could bring over the 2x here. I'll get x minus 2x. I could send this minus 2 here. I get 1 plus 2. I get minus x is less than 3. So dividing by minus 1, I'll get x is greater than minus 3. So this is my first piece. My second piece now will go like this. 2x plus 1 is less than 3. It becomes 2x is less than 3 minus 1. 2x is less than 2. So x is less than 2 over 2, which is 1. So x is less than 1. That's my second piece. Now I have two inequalities on one number line. Let me show you how that is done. Two values here to cater for. There's a minus 3 and the 1. So my one number line must cater for all of this. So I could put 0 here. 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, etc. Right? So x is greater than minus 3 will go like this. x is less than 1, we'll go like this. Now what I can see is that in this particular number line, there is an overlap, right? Overlap occurs here. So what's happening is that my values fall into this category. It's between -3 and 1. So then I could write it like this. X is greater than -3 and x is less than 1. Or I could write x is between -3 and 1. And that's my final solution for this. Now this may seem a little complicated for some of you all, but it simply means the same thing as this. I could break this up into 2 pieces just as how I did this at the start. Now, this takes me to the end of my first video. I hope that you understand what I covered, and if you don't, please feel free to check it over to make sure that you do, and still drop me a line if anything to let me know your feedback on it. Thanks guys for tuning in, and thanks guys for the support.